have our guest analyst with me for the rest of the program to offer his perspective on some of the talking points and what you might have heard on the show today. Professor Abiodun Adeniyi is here. He's a current affairs analyst, professor of communications, and deputy dean of the postgraduate school at Bayes University in Abuja. Thank you very much indeed for being here, as always. Two different perspectives on the election and on all the issues that have come to the fore as a result of that. It's a difficult one to assess, isn't it?
Very, very difficult, very interesting times. And of course, it's a time where you actually find it difficult to have clarity on truth, reality, and knowledge. And we know this kind of times can be very, very challenging, you know, for observers, for listeners, and those who want to just assess situations as the case could be.
Especially non-partisan.
That's right, non-partisan. You know, but you will see that all of them are making very strong, valid points.
Yeah.
And it will also lead us to what the justices, the justices will also have to be dealing with. You see all the parties making very reasonable, sound arguments. And of course, the challenge will now be on them to now discern, separate the wheat from the chaff, and come to a final conclusion.
Well, it'd have to be strictly legal, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be legal.
It really
but even,
should be.
But even, you know, legal matters can also be questioned at the end of the day. But whatever they tell us, we have to take it finally. You know, even though we have been told that it doesn't really mean that they are infallible, that their infallibility is just because they are final. But what is important that we need to take away, Charles, is that we have to do all that is possible to be protective of our judiciary, because it's a very critical institution. And I could see some comments coming in back and forth between the interviewers, between your guests and yourself and all of that. But it is more that will protect the judiciary, because it's a critical arm, you know, an arm that is supposed to help ventilation, to calm nerves, you know, for people to sheathe their swords, trusted in the ability of that arm, you know, to resolve the matter, you know, whichever way. And that's why we're saying that at the end of it all, we must come to a closure. You know, however it goes, we must take it as a closing point, you know, where we have to finally move forward. Because if we fail to move forward, they will probably call in for something else. And that's what anyway.
Yeah, but on the other hand, it has to be, I mean, the people have a responsibility to hold their institutions to account. It doesn't matter which institution it is.
It doesn't matter which institution it is. Now you have just made a very valid point that people have their responsibility to hold their institution to account. You know, it's a social affair. It's a human essence that you cannot be judgmental about, that you cannot be mathematical about. At the end of the day, it's still going to be a matter of opinion. It's going to be a question of subjectivity. So at what point will you say holding to account, you know, is above board, like Caesar's wife, you know? At what point will you now say that, okay, these people have been held to account, they have done justice? It will still be seen from different sides, you know, from different angles. But overall, we have to have that philosophical state to rise above, you know, disappointments, above irritation, and accept what is going to come.
You have a good point. You have a good point. There's nothing anyone can do once it's the Supreme Court has made the final decision.
No, but what we are seeing happening now is that we are seeing, you know, tendencies to probably browbeat, blackmail the judiciary in different ways. And it's becoming very, very confusing, really. And you want to even sympathize with the justices, because, you know, the template that is being set now is that however they go, there will still be problem.
Yeah, but
you know, whichever side they belong to,
I understand what you mean.
That's the groundswell of opinion that we're beginning to read.
Which is why people, a certain school of thought is asking them to be as punctilious in their assessment of the letter of the law, so that it becomes ineluctably clear to everyone.
And the point you have just made now is that it's still going to be very, very subjective.
Yeah,
you know, going by what you're...
Well, I mean, the point is that if there is overwhelming evidence to support a particular decision, then it would behoove them to take that decision. If they go against that decision, and for a lot of lawyers and objective people, clearly they didn't do what they were supposed to do, then that would be a problem.
No, there's still a problem.
I understand the point you mean about subjectivity.
They are at some point, right?
But there is a subjective objectivity.
Yeah, it's a very complex process, and at the end of the day, there has to be a closure, and however it comes, there will still be elements of influence, element of opinion, element of subjectivity.
Well, that's why it's
but
what matters is for us. Opinion.
Yeah, what matters is for us to rise above it, no matter how disappointed we're going to be, and accept it as the final, as a point of closure.
Well, as someone said...
And I'm not saying that it can go either way, but
what you mean.
I don't want a situation where we hit the system, put them under pressure, such that they can somewhat become confused.
Well, as someone said...
At the end of the day, we begin to actually affect, taint their reputation in the situation where they have not even...
well, as someone said, it'll be a case of having to accept, because there's nothing anybody can do.
Now you're talking.
Once they've made that
now
decision.
You're talking,
Prof, it's really nice to talk with you. I wish we had more time, but we got to go. Professor Abiodun Adeniyi is a current affairs analyst, professor of communications, and deputy dean of the postgraduate school at Bayes University in Abuja. Thank you very much indeed. That's it for this edition of Arise Prime Time. Join us again tomorrow. From me and the entire team here in Abuja, bye-bye, and thank you for watching.